bitch.
Mm-hmm. Welcome to Craft Me Daddy. I'm Althea.
I'm Tiff.
And today we're going to continue on our crowns because we just love them and we want to finish them. But mermaid crowns, evil crowns. I'm trying to finish my
Cute
kind
crown.
of a half mermaid crown.
I want to make
crowns.
another one, but I don't have any more of the stuff.
What stuff?
That stuff.
Oh, I have it. I have all that.
Oh my god. It's going to be so great.
Do you want it right now? Are you done with that one?
No, I'm not done with it. So let's wait until I'm done with this one because I still got a couple more things I got to do.
Okay. Yeah, I have like a ton of this. So, yeah. So, and then today we are going to talk about, I had a hard time like figuring out the topic because at first I was going to talk about more of like the science of sex and how our bodies, yeah, because there's just so much to it, like what our bodies do, what our bodies can do, etc. And then I started watching that Ed Gein show.
Gein.
Ed Gein show about the serial killer, which serial killer shirt that I'm wearing today.
Yeah, that's
even though it's a joke.
This is a serial killer as I had.
Well, you would turn a serial killer on, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So no, lately, like Tiffany's like totally into the. I mean, so am I, but I got drawn into the show. I was like, you know, it looks like a really good show, and to be honest, when I saw the cover, I was like, that guy's hot.
Oh, that's Jax from Sons of Anarchy.
I looked him up.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, I was like, that's Jax! And
really?
And
he's
my
hot.
Ian Bray was like, who's that? Also. And I was like,
yeah, I've never seen him before. And they like make him look a little bit weird with his eyebrows and I don't know, they changed his look a little bit, but I was like, that guy's freaking hot. And it's like a show about some crazy person, and I'm always interested in that kind of stuff. And normally I don't, just because it bothers me, but I got sucked into it. And then I was reading about the subject that I was going to talk about today, which is about like our bodies and sex and stuff. And sex is supposed to be like healthy. It's supposed to be a good thing. And I was reading about all the, again, the chemical releases that we have when we have sex and how it's natural, all the endorphins, which I'll read through the different, things. But then I thought about it and I was like, how do people like that experience these natural chemical releases and hormones turn from a normal, happy sex life to turning into a serial killer and thinking and having a twisted experience with sex, which I already know it comes from shame and upbringing and various things. So it got me thinking about all this stuff. And I was like, oh my God. And I looked up, there's studies about it. So anyways, but first I'll just read about, because I love to educate us about the different types of chemicals. And I know we've read it already, but I just want to read them again. Or this episode is going to be, we're going to talk about some stuff, how they warn you when you watch it. We're going to talk
trigger
about
warning.
Trigger warning. Yeah, we're going to talk about a serial killer, and we always talk about sex stuff. So beware. So I wanted to talk about first how sex is supposed to be a good thing, and our bodies naturally have all these things. So I found this article. So if anybody wants to look it up, Options Health, California Department of Health, But so our main sex organ is our brain. So it starts in the brain. When your brain is activated towards sex, at the height of sexual pleasure, the brain releases certain chemicals resulting in new emotions. So dopamine and serotonin. We like to call dopamine and serotonin the happy chemicals. When these chemicals are released, it wires our brain to want to repeat the thing we just did. Because of this, dopamine is not only connected with sex, but also with delicious food, learning something new, music, gambling, and taking drugs.
Yeah, it's our reward system.
Yeah. Yeah. So then the next chemical is vasopressin. This is the commitment hormone. It causes us to feel protective and committed to our partner. When male prairie vows were given a drug that suppresses vasopressin, they began neglecting their partners and not fighting off other male vows who wanted to mate with her. I don't know if I'm saying that word wrong.
What is it? Let me see.
Right there.
Oh, it might be bulls.
I took this off like an article that was talking about like, yeah, so the commitment hormone. So these are like all things that we like experience, you know? So there's a reason our body like does these things. So vasopressin, this is the, did I already say that one? No. Yes.
Who cares?
Yes.
They weren't paying attention, motherfuckers. Pay attention and she won't have to repeat herself.
Okay, so oxytocin, this is known as the bonding hormone.
Yep.
So it is released in the brain during sexual pleasure and causes feelings of bonding. It also eases stress and creates a feeling of calmness and peace. Oxytocin crystallizes memories so that sexual experiences are not easy to forget.
It's also released when we breastfeed.
Really?
Yeah, it's our bonding hormone to bond with our children.
See, I remember learning about that when I had kids and like I got really depressed because I couldn't breastfeed, and I knew there was a reason. Mm-hmm. Those chemical, you're supposed to have that. And that's
you can
why
still have a bond with your child without breastfeeding, but that's one of the things that is happening for connection.
Yeah, I mean, I used to feel guilty because I would be so overwhelmed and I would put my child, sometimes when I was overwhelmed, I'd put them in the basket and I would prop their bottle because I couldn't really breastfeed. But it makes sense, the reason we have this chemical. It's supposed to help.
Yeah, with connection.
Yeah, help with connection. Our bodies are supposed to do these things, but the brain releases all of these chemicals and hormones throughout sexual activity, causing habit-forming behaviors. And this is the part where I started to think about Ed Gein because I watched Ed Gein, because I watched that documentary. I was like, oh my gosh, like, because I'm always thinking like how things happen. Like, so this is like how our bodies are supposed to work. So when it's not working properly, why? But we can actually create habit-forming behaviors from our first experiences, from our first sexual activity. But these chemicals are released throughout sexual activity and arousal, not just during sexual intercourse. For example, if someone is engaging in pornography or other types of sexual activity, their brain is still releasing these chemicals.
So now the reward system is switched from it being a reward of connection with a person, and now it is a reward system for we watch a thing, we get rewarded.
Yeah. So when I was thinking about Ed Gein, and Gein,
I was like, I'm done. I'm done.
Oh, just that little laugh. In my brain, I keep thinking about how it's spelled. Gein. So I keep thinking.
What makes you think J?
Because Gein. Gein. I don't think of ain because a.
Well, you can say Gein. You can say Gein or gain, but like weight is A-E-I. A gain. What I've heard is gain, but I've actually heard Gein. Okay. I've heard Ed Gein as well, but I've never heard
Okay,
Gein.
I think that's how they were saying it on the show, but I don't know. Yeah, I'll try to remember. So I'll just read through the chemicals real quick because then I want to talk about like,
some fucked up shit.
Yeah, the fucked up shit. When we realize sexual activity begins in our brain, we become aware of the emotional effects of sexual activity and how it impacts our hearts and minds. Have you ever felt depressed or seen your friend get really depressed after a breakup? This is because your brain is releasing these chemicals during romance and sexual activity, causing you to bond, commit, and feel protective over your partner. Avoidant. Also, you are feeling incredibly happy with this partner. When the breakup happens, all these feelings are interrupted. This is the way your body works. The bonding is natural and you can't control whether it happens or not.
This is the way.
Yeah, if you don't realize this about yourself, you might feel surprised when you get involved in a sexual relationship and then feel the pain of a breakup. So I can, like, when I get sad when I have good sex with somebody and they don't care.
Like, it is a bummer. Like, oh, that was good sex. I don't want anyone else to have it. I want to have it. And like, it was good. Why would you want it with anybody else? But at the same token, I think a lot of it is my attachment style. Like, if they don't like it, I'm triggered. My anxious, or if they don't care, my anxious side is triggered.
So I wonder if that has to do with like, the bonding chemicals that are released.
So the oxytocin is really only in your blood system for like, it might be 7 minutes.
But when you're connecting with that person, you're connecting that bond.
Well, and you're creating that, what it is the conditioning. You're releasing that thing, which is creating this feeling. But that hormone is then gone almost immediately. But the release of it is how you start to condition yourself, right? Like the feeling of connection that you had with them. And then after a while, the feeling of connection.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I read when I was doing mine on perimenopause and stuff,
mm-hmm.
that oxytocin is actually only in your blood system for like 7 minutes.
The repetition.
Yeah. Is the conditioning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had to learn not to have sex with somebody just because I get attached.
Yeah.
And so whatever it is, whether it's hormones or my attachment style, when I sleep with somebody, I have a different feeling about them, even if I don't like them.
Yeah.
Which is why I try now. I've gotten older and had my therapist and been really working really hard on like boundaries and things, like to be like, don't continue that pattern because you're continuously creating those neural pathways.
Yeah.
As opposed to, saying, no, I'm going to save myself for somebody that wants to be with me, because
yeah,
if they're just looking for sex, I'm going to reinforce that connection. I'm also reinforcing the idea that I'm not good enough for them to stay. I'm also, when I need to reinforce is what I want is this. So anything that's not this, I say no to.
Yeah.
Because of that same concept.
Yeah, which it's fascinating how everybody has their own experience, but we all have the same chemical releases.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's how it's, like, it fascinates me because everybody has certain experiences that have influenced them. I mean, and it can be vast, but
there's still like really similar things, like that's why there's like
patterns,
personality disorders, right? Is because there has been enough things that have happened that are the same, right? That they can say, like, even though your experience was different, it still falls under this umbrella. And my experience was this, but it falls under the same umbrella, which means this other thing. So that's how we can like relate. Like, we might not be relating like specifically, but we can relate to each other's issues and certain things.
Which I wanted to talk about, like, our own experiences with, like, like
releasing some oxytocin.
But let me see if I read everything, though. When we realize sexual activity begins in our brain, we become aware of the emotional effects of sexual activity and how it impacts our hearts and minds. Have you ever felt depressed or seen your friend get really depressed after a breakup? This is because your brain is releasing these chemicals during romance and sexual activity, causing you to bond, commit, and feel protective over your partner.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You did read that because I was like...
Oh, okay. Yeah, so basically there's bonding chemicals, commitment chemicals, like the oxytocin bonding. Vasopressin is the commitment hormone. Serotonin is the happy chemicals, and dopamine. So anyways, those are like the basic ones, but I wanted, so that I'm done reading. So just drink straight from the bottle.
I'm done with the glass. You got your glass.
I have my whole
your
bottle.
I got my bottle.
Yeah.
This is just really delicious.
Like
I just want it
stuff.
straight from the source.
So, you know, like it took a twist on me when I was like, oh, it's so fascinating to talk about like how our bodies work. I like your Satan thing.
Thanks. Actually,
aren't we supposed to be making crowns?
Well, I just finished mine.
You finished it?
Well, the only thing that I had left was just the chain.
Oh.
I mean, right? Like
no, that's awesome. I'm just, you know, like in my own world over here. So
I love how when I try to do this, I get a little choked. But yeah,
it goes well with your outfit.
Does it? The yes. Choking or the crown?
The choking.
Oh yeah, that's
because.
But I finished.
Oh,
finally! Oh my God, we finished the craft.
Yeah, so in the next few weeks, there'll be a photo shoot of us being mermaids.
Yes, I'm going to be a dark mermaid queen.
I still want to make, like, a goddess crown.
Yeah, I have so much stuff. I want to make so many crowns because they're so fun to make. And, like, doesn't this look cool? Right? Is it centered?
I love it. Yes.
It's really stiff because I was so afraid that the glue wasn't going to stick the first time we made them that I went way too heavy on the glue. So it's like,
yeah, I remember
it's fully erect.
In the in the non-bendable glue.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but now I am ready for our photo shoot adventure at Black's Beach in San Diego. Where I can be full nude, but I probably won't be because I'm really nervous about it, even though I talk a really good game.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to be like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to Black's Beach.
Oh,
we're going to be fucking sexy MILF hoes. And then we're going to get there and be like, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, like, can you cover me, please?
Yeah.
Can we wear...
Don't look at dicks. Don't look at dicks.
Dude, that's exactly what I was thinking when I was walking down the beach. And guess whose dick I looked at? Because you talked about how he had such a big dick.
I talked about how I heard he had such a big dick. Yes. I had not seen it at that point, and I wouldn't even look at it at Black's Beach.
Yeah, well, I wanted to find out from all the rumors.
And you found out.
Exactly.
But I found out the hard way.
Yeah.
Oh, yay. I don't want to talk about it. I get all weird and blushy.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about it after. Later. But let's talk
more about my chemical hormone.
Yes. So, when I was thinking about that, I started to think about, like, why was Ed Gein, oh my God. I'm just going to say Ed Gein, okay?
Ed Gein.
There's a not a documentary. There's an actual show about him.
There's also
Hulu.
There's documentaries. No, I think it's
like a new one.
Hulu. It is.
Is it Netflix?
It's Netflix. With Huntman, Charlie Huntman is the actor.
I don't know. I'm so bad with names.
And yeah, it is. It's of the makers of of the makers of Monster, the Menendez Monsters.
Oh, that's
something
the
the
same
Menendez.
writers? I thought he was just inspired to make those movies. I didn't know the same writers and directors
I don't know if it's
made
the same
it.
writers and directors. It's the same person that is in charge of that is in charge of the Gein one.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, okay. So, anyways, so I started to think about Ed Gein. And, like, I started to think of how it, like, why was he, you know, so messed up? Because, like, he did a lot of, like, sexual stuff that was weird. Like, and then when I started to read about him and stuff, his mother had the religious shame at the highest level. Yeah. That I've ever heard anybody be shamed about sex. And I mean, so I read about it, heard the podcast, so I know the facts are pretty accurate. The show's pretty accurate except for some other things, but his mother used to tell him like that women who had you're not supposed to have sex with women. And then she would read them Bible scriptures every night and basically told him sex was only to make children. And then she would break him down and tell him that, like, because I guess she didn't want to have, like, boys. She wanted to have girls.
Well, so she built... So this is where I know too many things about serial killers. So she was so religious in her upbringing that when she married George Gein... or Gein. Mm-hmm. He was like a terrible alcoholic. He couldn't keep a job. And so she ended up having to pretty much run the household. So she started to build up resentment towards him, which eventually
this is in the marriage?
Yeah, Augusta.
Wasn't she already like that before that?
Well, I'm saying in her religious upbringing, right? She got married.
They said that they didn't say much about her upbringing.
In what?
In her own life. Like when she was a kid.
They didn't say much where?
About her own upbringing. But when she got married to George...
Yeah, but you just said they didn't say very much. Who's they saying and that they didn't much?
Well, the podcast Morbid, they said that they didn't have any facts about her childhood.
They didn't.
But I also read about it. And
I did.
Yeah.
I'm not speaking of just Morbid podcasts. I'm talking about other research I've done, other things that I've watched. So her upbringing was of old Lutheran religion, which is much more conservative and strict than the like mainstream Lutheran that we have today. Mm-hmm. And so she was brought up very strict as well. And their whole concept of life is everybody's terrible sinners. Everybody should be going to hell, so we should be working extra hard, right? So she was also raised in that religious environment. So when she married George, he was an alcoholic. He was, you know, and because of her religion, her religious background, she couldn't divorce him because it was not allowed in her religion. So then she started to hate men. So that's why she wanted to have children. When they started having children, she wanted to have girls because she fucking hates men. And then she had a boy, and then she had another boy, and she has even like throughout their life mentioned to her own boys that she'd wished that she had a daughter. But instead she has these boys, and now she has to protect them from sin and from that. She does not want to raise men that are like the men that she hates, pretty much. So she just continued along with how she was taught, and then went overboard in her own thinking that I hate men, so I want to raise these men that are not like the men that I hate. And
wow, see, I couldn't find any information about that. I always just thought like she was just super. I didn't know. Wow, that's really amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, not amazing. Like
it's not amazing that happened. It's
I didn't know that perspective about her.
Yeah.
I thought there wasn't. I just knew she was super religious and she shamed the shit out of her sons.
But you got to understand that nobody is one way. Nobody is extreme. Unless they were taught to be that way.
No, yeah, I didn't know that there was, I thought there was no gathered information about her. I knew she was religious.
No, there is.
She was raised
but
religious,
most people just don't look up Augusta Gein. Oh. You know, they look up Ed Gein and they get that information. And when you're looking at his life, they're not going to give a huge backstory on the mom or the dad, you know.
Oh, see, that one podcast, I thought they did heavy research.
Well, they do, but they don't do heavy research on the parents. Oh. They do heavy research on the parents, the person.
Like, I want to know why Augusta was so fucking hardcore.
Well, and that's why. Like, she was literally raised old Lutheran, hardcore herself. Then she ended up marrying an alcoholic for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. I couldn't find any information on that, but like why or how they met. But yeah, he wasn't I don't know if he was an alcoholic when they met, but he became an alcoholic, and then he couldn't keep a job. And
I feel like he became an alcoholic from being married to her.
Well, probably, but also, you know, or
I mean, that's
it exacerbated her issues because she started to hate men. She obviously didn't hate men enough that she got married to one of them, and then that because she couldn't leave, she started to hate men and hate that man.
I got like a different perspective on that. But.
Well, I'm not saying that just because again, right? Feel sorry for the child, not for the adult.
No,
right?
no, I mean, because when I was listening to because it was the movie was mostly about Ed Gein. It didn't talk about the mom, but when I was listening to the podcast they were saying that when they got married, she made it sound like it was the worst ever, and she was just getting married because of procreation and stuff like that.
It's possible. I mean, I don't know why. That's what I was saying. I don't know why she married him, but it
was never good. Basically,
yeah,
he was never because they loved each other. Right. It was because, So
and then she just grew more and more resentful. It turned into man hate.
Yeah.
And she had 2 boys. Then this guy dies. Dad dies, and then she's like, I want to make sure that I raise these kids so they're not the type of men that I hate. But her view of actual men and life was also skewed. So she's just teaching the skewed.
Yeah, and in the meantime, she's shaming the shit out of her sons.
Yeah.
So the main way that she shamed them was through religion, and she basically taught them that you're not supposed to have sex with women. They're all Jezebels. They're all harlots.
Women are, oh God, what was the phrase? Basically, they're all
Jezebels. But I know what you're saying.
But you said Jezebel, but you have to, I don't know what a Jezebel is. So like,
well, that's like the religious way of Christians calling women the sexual evils.
It was like a word.
But I know what you're
sinner.
talking
There
about.
was a word that I was looking for, but it's more of like, ultimately, women are gonna lead to men going to hell. It's like basically they're
yes.
It's not just sinners, but there's a term for it. But yeah, and I was like,
you're supposed to, like, in her viewpoint from the religion is your, and she even told her kids, like, I only defiled myself twice to have you guys, and then I had you. So, like, even though you're not wanted, only, and then she would say to them all the time, only a mother could love you.
Yeah.
There was like this, like, on top of the religious shame, there was also like, so when I was reading about sexual shame and how that affects, a person, it actually emotionally affects a person to think of their self-worth as like, well, there's something wrong with me.
Well, because you have totally normal thoughts.
Yeah.
And then, what's totally normal and healthy, like, oh, that person's attractive, or, oh, like, I'm getting a boner. And then you're like, I am the devil. I am going to hell because I have this boner. Now you're ashamed. And, it's totally normal for these things to happen. And, and so that ties into, like,
it goes into your own
she
worth.
caught she caught him masturbating once before he was 14. It was before 14. Yeah. And she literally grabbed his genitals.
Oh my God.
And was like, you know, like, these are the man's curse. Like, you know, just shamed the shit out of him and made it weird. And that's abuse. You know, just grab some fucking genitals and...
Yeah, so she's taking what is supposed to be something good, natural urges, and saying, and going down to the core of him and telling him that his natural urges are the worst
Shameful.
thing ever, the most shame ever,
like,
and
yucky.
Yes, and so it not only like it fucks him up to the core.
It ingrains this false sense of reality and this shame, and it ingrains it into him because now he doesn't know anything different. You know, he doesn't know. Yeah. So it becomes his reality, you know, because she's also abusive, and also his, you know, their dad was abusive. And so like he you know, he got it from multiple angles, but the shame thing is like, you none of that, all of that is sin. All of that means you're going to hell. All of that is a sin. And there's no compassion. She wasn't like a loving mother.
And there's no nurturing either.
Yeah,
like she was the opposite of a nurturing mother. And we need nurture. And the part that like really made me like question like how, because he was obsessed with his mom. Yeah. But because the other one wasn't. Because Henry, was it Henry?
That's because
anyways, his brother wasn't.
Yeah, so it was because Henry had gotten a little older, he had more time with the dad. Once the dad died, she got more strict, and she isolated them on their property and stuff. And like he was younger, so he had more developmental age with just mom, and became, you know, she basically groomed him to be dependent. Yeah, so that's the part that I want. Like there's no like all women are bad.
I know that she like a lot of times narcissists too. I know that's off topic, but a lot of times narcissists will groom one child. And and
the golden child.
Or whatever. The golden child or whatever. So he was so obsessed with his mother, even though she was so abusive in every way, that he protected her. You know, it's almost like that what's it called? Trauma bond? Yeah. It's like a trauma bond. But it's crazy, like, so how did she, you know, do that? How did she create him to protect her when she was so horrified?
Well, she a lot of reasons, right? From the get-go, she was abusive. Yeah. But then also she moved them out after the dad died to the middle of fucking nowhere. So they were completely isolated. They were only allowed to like go to Bible study, go to this other thing. Like they literally, and the only reason why.
So it's isolation.
Isolation is a part of control. Yeah. Right. So isolation, coercion, and then of course like extreme shame. If you're going and you're meeting people, she did not encourage. She would any friendships.
She would talk shit about whoever he talked about that he connected to.
No socialization, no friendships, no romantic relationships. Everything was frowned upon, and so like eventually there is no other person that's good enough. Then and it becomes, you know, an unhealthy. Yeah. And we don't even know like what other, like, you know, obviously there's mental health issues there, right? So like that'll have a lot to do with it, but because of the time and you know we don't know what all the mental health issues were.
It's just fucking insane to me. But
we might actually, he might have been diagnosed schizophrenic.
Well, so when they took him in and they went to his house and discovered all the crazy ass shit, and they locked him up and then they started asking him questions about all the stuff they found, he went silent. He wouldn't talk to them about it. And
there might be some shame there too.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, is like, because I guess one of the detectives, as soon as he saw him, because they literally went in his house and saw vulvas in a box.
In a drawer.
Oh, it was in a drawer?
It was like 14 vulvas.
Yeah.
But I do want to make sure that he is only known for killing 2 people. He literally would dig up corpses.
Oh, that's true.
And so
yeah,
it still does not make 14 vulvas in a drawer any better. And don't quote me on the 14 number, but that's still real weird. But it's not that he killed 14 women and then stole their vulvas.
Yeah, but the weirdness of him collecting vulvas.
Yeah,
I mean, there was a whole lot of weird stuff that he did.
A whole lot.
But there was something
bowls
around this sexuality of women, and a couple of the women that he killed, he accused of being, like harlots, or the other word that we can't remember, because of the way his mom taught him.
Yeah,
that
and they were actually
women are
really nice.
And they were nice.
One was like a bar owner or like a market store owner or something. Like, they were successful and they were nice to him, and they were probably even considered friends. But by mom's definition, beware of modern women.
Yep.
And back then, modern women maybe owned a store. I don't know. Beware of modern women, but not
women
me.
that had sex. Or
beware of all women but me.
Yeah,
is the concept.
Yeah, I mean, the way that she just used religion was disgusting. So I also wanted to talk about how, like, so us, like, we all have our own experiences, right? How did the natural process get warped, I guess?
You mean the natural process with him?
No, like, we know that what the natural process of him was him ingraining the religion. But how did it affect you? I mean, not you. I'm not saying you're like... Oh, like...
No, I mean, I have a
like,
yeah.
Like, I could say how things got screwed up for me and how it turned me into what I am now. So I just wanted to read like one of the articles about how sex shame relates to how it affects us. And this is from an article from Modern Intimacy. Shame can be the primary drive and stressor in sexual compulsion. Shame can turn into a cyclical pattern in people who experience shaming messaging around their sexual behaviors. Desires and interests may feel overwhelmed from this shame, causing the individual to hide their desires. So I wanted to talk about that too, because a lot of times when kids have shame because of what they're taught, they hide it and they don't know how to deal with it. They just think it's like a bad thing, so they don't talk about it. But so back to how our own experiences, I feel like for me as a kid, like I wasn't raised at such the extreme of Augusta with her son Ed, but I grew up Christian and just like not like super bad, just regular Christian. But the real stuff happened for me when I got married to my Christian ex, but he took it to the level of using Christianity to keep me submitted, to keep me doing, pleasuring him, even though he was a covert narcissist. Like, there's a whole thing about how
power and control. Yeah,
power and control. Like, he used to guilt me with Bible scriptures, like that I was his property basically, and he'd use those scriptures, and he would play the victim to me, like, well, you know, I followed the rules of the Bible, and I waited till I had you, and you don't give me your body completely, because he wanted the sex to be a certain way, but he didn't have like the capacity to connect with me emotionally. So it was like I was married for 15 years filming a porno. Like, there was no emotional connection, there was none of that, because he actually had his own trauma. Well, we both did, but he had his trauma from being raised in a highly controlling church, the Pentecostal church, and he was molested in that church. And so he, you know, he had his own set of issues, but he used religion to control me, because I was just, you know, some modest Christian girl. So I always felt guilty that, like, this is what I'm supposed to do, you know, etc. And then we had like horrible sex, because it wasn't about like intimacy or connection, and he used religion. But anyways, I was raised to wait till you're married to have sex, and it's like a pure thing, and there's like soul ties, and you know, I don't blame my parents for, that's how they were raised, that's how they were taught, and it makes sense and everything. But
it's also okay to blame your parents. You can still love your parents, but what, it is their fault.
That's so refreshing.
Yeah, you can.
So refreshing.
I mean, I have the same thing with my dad, like in a different way, but like, you know, my dad being a heroin addict, right? Like, he was away my whole life, but then he got clean a year before my daughter was born, and he's been a great grandpa. He's been clean ever since.
Oh, wow.
But like, I love my dad, but that doesn't mean that I did not have a lot of childhood trauma because of my dad.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah,
those things are his fault. It's okay for me to acknowledge it and also still love him, because I do, because who he is now is totally different. But it's also okay for me to acknowledge that
he fucked you up.
He fucked me up, man. My mom too. But, you know, it is their fault.
Yeah. I guess I have a hard time balancing, like, well, you know, because in the last like year or so since I've been like writing my book, I'm like, holy shit. Like, I'm just realizing how much the way I was raised fucked me up.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I'm like, they're so defensive about it that it makes me feel guilty.
Well, that generation is not of the go to therapy and work on our stuff generation, right? My mom's the same. I try to bring up something, and she says things like, well, I did the best I could.
That's what my mom said too.
And I literally am like, I'm doing the best that I can with my daughter.
Yeah.
And I'm doing an incredibly better job than you did.
Yeah.
So the best that you could, if I can do it, it means the best that you could have done it this way too. Yeah. So it wasn't the best that you could. It was the only thing you were willing to do.
But also her saying, or at least what I've discovered about my mom, is saying, when I go, this is all my stuff, and I'm trying to tell you how I was neglected as a child emotionally, blah, blah, blah. And then all she can say to me is, well, I'm just, you know, human. Why don't you just crucify me? You know?
Yeah.
Why don't you just say, fuck you, because you're not acknowledging
why don't you just say,
what happened to me?
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Like fucking have some empathy.
I could have done better. There's a million things that I could have done better. And I'm sorry. But they don't.
Yeah.
They refuse to acknowledge that they were not perfect parents.
Yeah, and that's all I needed. I just needed your acknowledgement. Yeah, of course, you weren't aware of the fact that I was molested and you thought it was, because my sister was born. You had no idea at how I went from a goofy, happy child to shut down, and you just thought it was because my sister was born. But whenever I tell her about like my childhood trauma or little things that happened or whatever, that like that person was just this and that, and they were going through that and that, and or she gets defensive and explains herself. Like, I don't give a fuck where your explanations. I was a child. I just need you to acknowledge my pain
and say, I'm sorry that I didn't fucking believe you, or I didn't acknowledge you, or I didn't do what I should have done with the information that I had.
Yes. I don't need you to defend yourself. Don't fucking defend yourself.
Yeah. It's too late for that, bitch.
Yeah. I'm fucking 44 years old. I don't need you to explain to me that you just didn't know, or you're just human. Like, I'm just human. I don't want to hear that.
Or I did the best that I could. No,
of course I fucking know that.
They didn't.
No, I know that you're human.
Oh, yeah.
That's not acknowledging.
Yeah.
My pain,
I'm also a human,
my trauma.
And if I do something that I'm not supposed to, or I do something that, I'm the first one to tell my daughter I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm like, I should not have said that. And I don't know if what I'm doing is right, but I want to let you know that here's my goal.
Yeah.
This is what I'm trying to accomplish by this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And is it right? I don't know. Or if I do something bad, I'm just not, I don't want to say like bad. Like I'm not like all, one time I was like, if you don't listen to me, I'm going to shoot you with this gun. I've never done anything like bad. Right. But if I say something wrong or I'll reflect on it and be like, I'm really sorry. I shouldn't have said that. Yeah. That was not cool of me to say. That was not the right thing for a mom to say to her daughter. And I should have done better. And I'm sorry.
So I guess just to put it in a short term, like, I'm realizing that for me, like, the way that my body was supposed to experience the natural, sexual chemical release and hormone release or whatever, I basically got shut down.
It was stunted.
Yeah, it was stunted. I got shut down as a very little kid because I got molested, and then my parents had no idea, so I didn't know that I was shut down.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that I was a goofy child before I got molested.
But you probably weren't a goofy child.
Before I got molested?
Oh, goofy as in like fun.
Yeah, like
funny.
Goofy.
Yeah.
Like
okay.
Like,
right.
Which I'm being that way now in life because I'm healing, but I try to tell people I'm actually kind of I'm an extrovert. I just was shut down most of my life and didn't realize it.
Yeah.
Because like there's certain people that bring out the goofiness in me because that part was shut down for so long. But so I grew up basically my whole life shut down and not knowing. And then I found out later that I had been molested. I went to therapy for years for that, even before I got married.
Because you were molested, or to find out that you were?
Just because you said to heal being molested.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then when I got married, it's kind of crazy because my husband at the time, he used that to get me to keep having terrible sex with him for 15 years.
Yeah.
Because he said, he even would read my journals and be like, oh yeah, you need to go to therapy because you're not opening up to me and you're not being everything that I want you to be, which is basically just like, let me do whatever I want to you.
That is what my ex Schmilio would do. He'd be like, I just keep waiting for you to get better so that you can, so that we can just, and I'm not asking for a lot, but like, I just, and
you're the problem, right?
I was always the problem. And
because that's the victim fucking secret manipulation that covert narcissists do.
Yep.
I always thought I was the problem, so I went to years of therapy. Thinking, and he'd be like, "Oh yeah, keep going to therapy."
I tried different medicines. I was trying to fix myself so that I could figure out how to be better for him.
He sounds like he's a covert narcissist.
Oh, he is.
Like
yeah,
my ex.
definitely. Yeah. Because the covert, right, is not like an outwardly boisterous.
Well, they do everything covert.
They
nobody knows because they're being covert about it.
But they're also super insecure, and they don't come across as super confident because they're that covert side does not. There's the. I forget what the non-covert is.
Protecting. They're protecting their ego. That's why I've been so careful about when I expose him, because to him that's the worst thing, because he's such an insecure man.
Oh yeah,
and that's his whole purpose is to protect his ego.
If I put anything online, if I put on my Facebook anything about our relationship as we were ending, anything that he did, and it was negative towards him, he would literally text me and blow me up and tell me that I was a disgusting human that no one was ever going to love, and that I needed to go to therapy to work on myself, all while knowing that he's projecting, because he's really the one that needed to go to therapy for all of his fucking gross trauma and all the things that he at least said happened to him. I don't know if it was, but
it's all part of their act.
And it was just but he would be so explosively angry and aggressive and basically try to tell me that I was disgusting and no one ever loved me because I was like, this is what Julio did today.
Yeah, exactly.
We got an argument about this, and okay, sure, you have your comments about putting things on social media, but if the person responds in that way, you know it's them and it's not you.
Yeah, that's crazy. We gotta talk more about your ex, but
I mean, I wasn't with him for 16 years. There's only 3 before
there was some major. Yeah, that's why I'm writing a book about it, and I'm I know he's gonna lose his fucking shit when
he's gonna shit in
he's
his
gonna
pants.
Fucking lose his shit.
Shit in his pants.
That's why I'm also doing it, though, because I'm sure there's plenty.
Because we want shit in their pants. We want them to smell like shit. We want them to indirectly taste like shit.
Well, it's so covert that there's probably so many people out there that are living under the same shit right now.
100%.
And, the whole, not going to therapy, I spent all those years thinking that I was the problem. And finally, near the end, my therapist was because I was telling her, I was just at the end of my rope. I felt so guilty for hating being married. I felt so guilty for hating sex. And there's a whole lot to that, which will be in my book.
That's actually where I wanted to go with that when we're talking about my shame.
Yeah.
Right.
You should. Can you talk about it?
I don't know necessarily where my shame came from, but I had this epiphany with my therapist recently where what I do now is, or not just now, but what I do is, as a non-child, is I create this obligation to have sex in my head. I'm supposed to do this thing. This is because of previous exes that I've had, primarily the last one, but ingrained in my head that okay, he's gonna be upset, or he's gonna leave, or it's gonna be bad if I don't have sex with him. So now I'm obligated to have sex with him, or he's not gonna like me, and he's gonna leave, and ultimately it should be well, that's fine, but I have convinced myself that it's an obligation. I'll use Iron Bray as an example.
Wait, this is the covert one that you're talking about.
No.
Right?
Well, I'm saying I think that's what stemmed from. That's what I feel currently is stemming from. But now that I'm currently with Iron Bray, he never once pressures me to do anything. But in my own head, so this is the epiphany I had with my therapist. She's like, you in your own head, you convince yourself that your worth is sex. You have to have sex with him or he won't be happy or he'll leave because your worth is just sex. Mm-hmm. And then your rebellious side, who's tired of people telling you what you got to do, is like, yeah, I'm obligated to do this. Yeah, fuck that. I'm not doing it then. And then I don't have sex with them. All because in my head, I've created an obligation because of trauma and past relationships.
Wow.
And then my defiant side is like, fuck that. I don't do obligations. So I shut down and I don't have that. So then I'm not as sexual with Iron Bray because I'm going through this whole traumatic cycle in my head.
Yeah.
Based on trauma that I've been taught, which is basically like, what they're not teaching you is that like, you can only have sex if you're married. But basically it's like, then you get in these relationships and it's like your worth is sex. Mm-hmm. If you're not having sex with me, then why am I with you? And if you're not keeping your man happy, then they're going to go elsewhere. So society and past relationships has trained me to be like, if I'm not having sex with them as much and whenever they want, then I am not, then they're going to leave and no one's going to love me.
Huh.
And then, but because I have that feeling, then I'm like, because then I'm also still Tiff. I'm like, nobody fucking tells me what to do. And I'm like,
and you also get 25 orgasms every time you have sex.
Well, yeah, I want to let myself have sex. I do hit a high number. But it is, then I have the complex. Then it makes it hard for me to want to have sex with Iron Bray, even though I know I want to. I'll be right there next to him, and I'll be going through this whole cycle in my brain where like, I should have sex with him because he's here. And then I'm like, oh, I should? Yeah, fuck that, I'm not gonna. And then I don't even try. And so me and him have had to be communicating about like, when we have opportunities, like he needs to subtly, just do things that are really non-evasive, but like, let me know that if we don't have sex, it's fine.
Yeah.
But that, like, I don't have to be the one to initiate. Because a lot of times he'll show up and I'll be like, I don't feel good. I'm miserable. I hate everything. Yeah,
You're already putting up the walls.
The wall.
Huh.
Yeah. And what I need is because it's like, I don't know when you walk in the door that I know I want to have sex with you right now. But I know that I think I'm supposed to. So then I'm defiant against that. And what I need him to do is just be like, I'm sorry that you don't feel good, and then just, rub him back. And then, the next thing you know, I'm going to be like, that
is so amazing. Or I don't even know the word. It's just, it's so interesting how our brains, our minds, and our patterns work.
Yeah.
Because I used to be like, dude, if my ex was just like, if he just wanted me, if he just showed me some connection, passion, and I used to tell him near the end, I'm like, I just want, because he'd be like, well, what do you want? Because I just like, I hit a wall and I just couldn't, like, I couldn't do it anymore because it was just all about like him wanting stimulation and it was never about connection. And then so he'd be like, well, what do you want? And I'd be like, well, I just want passion. That's the only word I could think of because passion means, in my mind, like, I just want you to want me. Like, I want to feel the intimacy of connection. But I couldn't word it that way. And he didn't get it. Like, it did not contribute to him.
Cannot compute.
Contribute.
Cannot compute.
Cannot compute. It's so funny because I actually call him a robot on my phone. I like the robot thing because there's like no emotion in him. But wait, so why was I talking about that?
Well, I had been talking about
like a point.
I was talking about how I go through that brain cycle where I think I'm obligated to have sex and then I don't.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so that made me think like if he would do like the whole connection thing, if he actually desired me and kissed me and wanted me, I would have fucking done anything for him. I would have been like, sure, I'll suck your dick for hours.
Yeah, so aren't we
sure,
glad?
you can have butt sex with me because that's what you always wanted.
So aren't we glad that he didn't? Because a covert narcissist or any narcissist can still give you that sometimes, right?
No, he never. Well, mine never did.
Well, I'm just saying that, like, the next one could be a narcissist and gives it to you in breadcrumbs, which is breadcrumbing,
yeah,
right?
that's true.
And so we don't want to. That's where the whole thing, like, where you have to be okay with yourself comes from. Is we can't be so desperate for love and touch and affection that when somebody breadcrumbs us, we're just happy that we get that.
Yeah, and that actually happened to me because I had been married for like 15 years or whatever with him and never got any of that. There was this one time when we were at like some party at my parents' house and we crossed paths because we're at the party. I went to the bathroom, he came through, and we were in the laundry room, and he grabbed me and kissed me, and I was like, oh, this turns me on so much, and I was like, please do that again, and I was hoping that would come back. Never came back. It was like back to the robot. And
did he need to just be drunk or something? Like,
I don't know what the fuck it was, but it was like the one moment in our 15-year marriage where he actually passionately grabbed me and kissed me. Other than that, never came back. It was never there. And I remember being so sad because I'm like, oh, like, why can't I have that back from him, you know, because that's all I need from him. So when I got divorced, part of it was because, you know, I got out of the nest and I started to be more independent because he couldn't trap me with kids anymore because they were older. So I started taking jiu-jitsu class, and that scared the shit out of him. But going on to what you were saying is the owner of the dojo, he started to give me attention, and he started to flirt with me, and he started to relate to me, to my creative side, and like he knew how to get to me emotionally.
Yeah.
But he was so unattractive. He wasn't my type at all. But because I was so desperate for that attention that I never got I was never cherished in my marriage, I was like, oh my God. And I freaking, yeah, like I almost did stuff with him, even though he's not even my type. Mm-hmm. Luckily, nothing happened with him, but that was the beginning of my divorce.
100% why I have been sucked in by Schmally so many times.
Yeah, because it's
it's
the type of
he knows when I'm in a low point.
Yeah,
and he knows how I feel about him, and then he knows, like, oh, this is a good time to, like, yeah, I was in need.
Fuck you. She's a badass goddess bitch.
Yeah.
So
and you know what?
Can't do that to her
honestly,
anymore.
Aside from the last one that he chose, because she's also like trash human, lied to my fucking face. I don't believe a word that she says. She's basically just like him.
Well, they can just be
the other people that
together.
he sucks in, like, they're probably really great. They're probably just having the same exact issue that I had, where like I was at a spot and then I believed him, and then, you know, he said the things that I needed to hear at the moment. And
it's you know, I was thinking actually today, I was like, I'm thankful for these people that reminded me of my worth, because when that first happened, I was so ashamed of myself. I hated myself for the fact for the divorce and the fact that I fell so hard for somebody that I'm not even attracted to, and it blew up my marriage, which I'm thankful for now, because I didn't realize how bad. I didn't realize what I was in.
Wait, you falling for this guy is what blew up your marriage?
No, I mean that's just what started it.
Oh,
you know, because I didn't, because he was an overt narcissist. He knew how to like emotionally get me, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my God. And then that's when I was like, you know what? I've always wanted to do like some kind of self-defense classes, but I knew it would like piss him off because that's out of the nest. That's threatening. And it was, because I'm in close contact with other men. I'm doing things that could threaten me leaving him. Feeling good about myself, because I remember after I took a self-defense class, and I didn't tell him about it either. I mean, I didn't ask permission.
Yeah, because
I was almost 40, because I was so conditioned to how he was.
It's a very cute earring.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's okay. I love how you did the gold trim on the outside. You're such an artist. Today when I was going through my crafts to make sure I had everything for our stuff, I found the Barbie head where you made the first rave doll when we first did the Barbie heads.
Our first date.
Yes. So just to recap, you guys, me and Tiff, we met at our gym. And we're like, oh, we're both crafters. And I loved how she was, like, super, like, inappropriate with her, like, shirts and stuff like that. I was like, you're so cool. And
I had a shirt that said, it had a kettlebell on it. And I have two shirts. One has a kettlebell, one has a barbell. And it says, it's not going to jerk itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, all her shirts are so awesome, and it just like hits that part of me where I'm like, you know, I want to be free of like, you know, all the restrictions of the way I was raised, because I've always been a rebel at heart. But so we're like, oh, we need to like get together, and so we finally got together and we're like, let's craft or whatever. And the first craft that I brought, which I wondered if she was gonna be like, this fucking bitch is crazy. I was like, so, I want to make Barbie doll earrings. And I know we did an episode about it because you were cool. I realized you were cool with it. But the first craft we did was Barbie heads. Yeah. And I was like, so you cool with that? And you instantly brought out all your wonderful stuff and painted this Barbie into this freaking rad raver. And you French braided. You did like the above braid on both sides of the head. Yeah. And this is like a tiny Barbie head.
Yeah.
She intricately braided the head and did these really cool neon eyelashes and made her look like and I was like, I can't do that. Like, you're amazing. Anyways.
Tell me.
She's so amazing.
Tell me again how amazing. No, I'm just kidding. No, tell me. Tell me right now how these look.
So you already made them into earrings?
Yeah, I just took the ones I had on and I fucking ripped them out and
Dude, they're awesome.
Cool?
Yes.
Death, swords,
you kind of like
stab.
Wait, are they swords?
Yeah, or...
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Prison shank?
Because at first I was like, are they crosses?
No.
Oh.
Nope.
Okay, so I guess, you know, basically...
That's good.
Wait, did you tell me everything about...
No, I was. That was my main thing that I want to talk about, was like how in my head I create this obligation, and this obligation is not only based on like this whole like, oh, when, you know, the way you're raised, but also like the way that men kind of groom you.
Yeah.
You know, in toxic relationships, not all men. Come at me with the all men thing, I swear. But
yeah.
But like being kind of groomed and trained to be like, oh, like if I don't put out, then they're going to cheat. If we're not giving them what they want, then they're going to cheat. And it's like, my therapist brought up a good point, was like, what if you get injured? And she's like, did you think that like maybe Brian just Iron Bray?
It's too late. I actually edited a video yesterday and you said Brian and you didn't fix it.
Yeah, it's fine.
So we all know.
It's fine.
We all know.
I'm still going to say Iron Bray. Anyways, she's like, did you ever think that like he just likes to hang out with you? And like if you were to be injured and you couldn't have sex, that like you guys would find a way to work through that because he's not with you for the sex. He's with you because he just really likes to be with you and around you. And I was like, no, I never thought of that.
Dude, I would just love to be in your therapist's shoes.
Yeah. I mean, oh yeah, it gets entertaining sometimes because I'll be like, oh, I'll show you. He doesn't change his sheets. And then I'm like, he says he changes his sheets every fucking week. And she's like, Like, I just nodded when I said that.
I didn't see it.
She says, like, with the whole, like, via text, like, the whole, like,
Wait, you guys text when you do therapy?
No, I just text her throughout the week.
Oh.
So she knows what's going on.
Oh, that's cool.
It's not like I'm not like, hey, boo. You know, I'm just kind of like, oh my God, today this happened. And then me and him had this conversation. And then, you know, and so like I'll give her something so that during our session, she kind of knows.
Oh, that's cool, actually. Because then she kind of can.
I mean, I don't do it all the time. But if something comes up, because she's been very open. Like, I genuinely like my therapist. And I think that, like, if she wasn't my therapist, and she also was out of state, but like that we would be friends. Like I like talking to her. I like learning about her. I like how she challenges me and my thoughts. Like,
well, that's what I love. Like from what I hear from you, and when you talk about your therapist, it sounds like she makes you think.
She does. She forces me to challenge myself.
Yeah, exactly, and that's good because that's like you got to think about. You know, I don't know.
Well, that's how you make change.
Yeah, exactly.
And no, she is a great therapist. I'm very grateful for her. Yeah. And the way that she helps me like have these epiphanies and she's not afraid to just be like, this is what I think you're doing in your head. And I'm like, oh shit, you know what? You're right. Like I am doing that. I am creating this obligation. I am, and then I'm reacting to the whole situation, and I actually do have control over that. It's not just something that's happening because like that's just how my brain is wired. It's like, no, I have to be aware of it first so that I can be like, oop, is that what I'm doing? And then remind myself that if Brian's legs got cut off in a tractor, I am Bray. His legs got cut off in a tractor accident after we bought a farm and needed to plow our fields.
An isolated farm
where we started going to church and stuff. You know, and then he lost his legs. I would still be like, well, I guess now you just gotta watch me masturbate. And also we get to hang out and talk about stuff and watch scary movies. Cause like, I don't know. I don't like him because his penis is gigantic and perfect. I like him because he's really cool.
Yeah.
And like, I could hang out with him before his friends and not have sex with them.
Yeah.
And so like, I mean, obviously, if he lost his legs, I could still have sex with him. But I meant, like, his penis also went in the tractor accident.
Dude, I'd be like, as long as your penis still works.
No. I'd be like, there's so many fake penises.
But if they don't have their penis, though, how are they going to be turned on by you?
Because they don't have a penis doesn't mean they can't think I'm attractive. Their brain is the first sex organ. That's what you said.
Oh, that's right. Maybe I should, like, there's so many things I want to, like, dive into and study. Because I've actually thought about that. I'm like, what if somebody I was, like, majorly in love with, like, got their freaking legs chopped off? Yeah. Or their penis. Would they still be interested in me? Because I still want them to be interested in me. You know?
Well.
But that's, like, a whole other...
Yeah. Because, like, for me, I just want them to still love me. I want to know that they just think I'm so fucking cool that they want to hang out with me, that the sex is just a bonus.
Yeah.
And so if we don't get to have sex, it doesn't make that hangout session a bummer. But that's what my ex made me feel like. If we hung out, like, I'm literally with my daughter all times. I have my dogs at all times. And there'd be times where my daughter would go and stay the night at a friend's. Mm-hmm. And I'd be like, oh, I get a night to myself. Oh my gosh. Like, how cool is this? I needed this so much. And then he'd be like, so your daughter's not home, but you're like, so I can't come over? So, like, we're not going to have sex because your daughter's not there. So we can't have sex when your daughter's there. But when your daughter goes, like, I don't get to come over and we have sex. And I'd be like, literally, if you're not fucking here, she's here, or you're both here, and the dogs are fucking here, and I got a night to myself, and I actually would like to just have it to my fucking self. Yes,
yeah, and not feel guilty
just
about
because
it.
one day in a month I don't have my daughter, it does not mean that you are obligated to that fucking day to get your fucking dick wet.
Yeah.
That is not what that means. Mm-hmm. That means I have that day to decide what the fuck I want to do with it.
Yeah.
You're not obligated to anything. And then the obligation then makes the rebelliousness. And then I'd be like, you know, even if he did come over, I'd be like, I don't feel good.
Yeah.
I sent Ian a little nudie today. And I almost didn't send it because I felt fat. And I told him that. I almost didn't send it because I felt fat. And he was like, you don't look fat. You look fucking hot. And I was like, I knew you were going to say that, so I sent it.
Yeah.
But, like, my ex, if I said, oh, I feel fat, he would be like, oh, I guess the whole day is ruined. And I would be so, like, what? What does that mean? And then
That's because his whole obligation is for himself.
So if I said I felt fat, he was like, oh, well, I guess I can't fucking touch her then. And now the night is ruined. And he'd give me the silent treatment. And he would go in there and do the dishes. And he wouldn't talk to me. And I'd be like, well, what's wrong? So not only am I having a bad day, but now I'm in trouble for something.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't ever win. So when I was married, there was always guilt when it had to do with sex. So it got to the point where I'm like, okay, the kids are finally asleep. Like, I get to go do my own thing. Yeah. You know, because he didn't help with anything else. So I was always like drained at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, oh, good. Let me escape into my fantasy worlds and do what I love to do. I could always feel his presence behind me waiting for his time to have sex. So, but the sex was never good because, you know, of all the other reasons. So I could never enjoy my own break time. I always felt guilty.
Yeah, same.
Because he was waiting.
Yeah. It was like I would do the craft that I wanted to do, but it was with guilt.
Yep.
Knowing
it's like, that doesn't feel fucking
I know
good.
that I'm in trouble for this. I know that this is causing issue. I know that he believes that, like, my alone time or my private time is obligated to him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so you feel guilty about your own fucking time.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, so, you know, it's never about you. It's always about them.
Yeah. Always.
Yeah.
That's exactly how What's His Face made me fucking feel.
I don't fucking live in that misery, and I'm glad you don't either.
It's so weird that Ian Bray isn't like this. He's not like that.
Oh, well.
And he's like, he doesn't blow up my phone.
Because he's healthy.
He's not like, he's not like over texting me. Like tonight he's at a concert with his other friends.
Uh-huh.
Like, like my Shmulio literally told me, well, why would I ever go and hang out with my friends if I wasn't with you? I literally have been alone for 3 years. I don't want to be alone anymore. I want you to do everything with me. And I was like, like, what if I'm going to go hang out with my girlfriends? He's like, well, I wouldn't go with my friends unless you were invited. Like, I want someone that wants to be with me all the time. It was nuts.
Manipulation.
It was nuts. But, you know.
That's how they manipulate you, though. Like, that's how they build the guilt. Like, they only want you to fill their black hole because they don't know how to be healthy. So if you go out and
or
have
happy.
fun,
They don't know how to be happy.
Yeah.
Without having somebody to control or appease them.
Yeah, exactly. But like, so they'll use everything against us. Like, oh, we want to go have fun and do things with our friends. And I remember I used to, like, when I started to be able to, like, do more free, fun things with my friends, he'd be like, well, why don't you ever, like, want to do that with me? And
oh my God.
Yeah. It's like, what the fuck? And then at the time, I'm like, what? Like, I'm so confused because, like, our whole entire marriage, he never acted that way.
Oh my God.
It's just when he was threatened.
I was so annoyed because he'd be like, we don't do anything fun. We don't do any of this. And that. I was like,
when do you fucking initiate it?
Well, I was like, a month ago, I just paid for a trip. We went camping at Catalina Island in this badass campsite for his birthday. Island. And like,
you did that for
I paid
his
for
birthday?
the whole fucking thing.
You planned it?
I planned everything. Oh, I was the only one that planned things.
Has he ever done that shit for you?
No. He never did. He never planned a goddamn
See the audacity thing. That he tries to bring this shit up to you?
And that is exactly what it was like. You went to Parker with me, and you said that was the most fun you've ever had in your whole fucking life. We have literally done some of the most fucking fun things that he had ever done in his whole life and are just part of my normal, everyday life. And then I'm doing all this, but you know, my daughter was in high school at the time, so that did restrict things. Volleyball season, we couldn't do certain things, but then he would use that specifically because for those 3 months we couldn't do anything because it was tournaments and stuff, and it would be like, we don't do anything fun ever. I'm like, do you mean that we don't do anything during volleyball season because like I'm literally busy watching my daughter be fucking badass at volleyball? Because then
you could come and contribute,
and he would
enjoy it with me.
Most of the time he would, but it was like this obligation that like he hated, because then he would throw it in my face, and then he would like, and the audacity of him to be like, we don't ever do anything fun after we had literally I paid for us to go to Whidbey fucking Island. Mm-hmm. I took my best friend was up there. I took him. My daughter's best friend, and we went to Whidbey Island and explored and went hiking, and then me and him alone went camping at Catalina Island like a month and a half later, and like we were constantly doing cool shit, but he wanted to be doing things every single weekend, and so it wasn't enough.
And did he plan any of it?
Not a goddamn thing. God, well, one time,
the hypocrisy though, you know.
One time for my birthday, this is amazing. One time for my birthday, he planned the trip because I told him he had to plan it.
Oh, because you told him he had to.
To Sedona, because he loves Sedona and wants to go to Sedona so bad. Mm-hmm. So for my birthday, we go to where he wants to go so bad. Mm-hmm. And then I just told him to plan it all. Mm-hmm. And then he gets so fucking drunk on my birthday. God. That he's throwing up in a bathroom, in the bathtub, on my birthday. Mm-hmm. And I was like, it should be me throwing up in that bathtub.
Yeah.
It's my birthday. And we should be where I want to be. And not in Sedona. Not that I don't like Sedona. It was nice to go there. It was super cool. But you know what? That's where he wanted to go.
God, I really don't like this guy. Sounds like a narcissist.
Yeah. And
a covert narcissist.
And
like my ex.
Let's remind everybody, he couldn't keep his fucking dick hard.
Oh, is that why you kept flopping it?
Remember? It's the one where like I had to be in a certain position.
Ew.
And I had to be like in this, like, well, can you just stand there so that I can like, and I'd have to just be like,
yeah, dude.
Okay, you know. So it wouldn't just be like a sex being like a thing. It would be like a whole ass thing. And I always had to be in the same position or it would risk losing the boner. And his dick was really big. And so it was like, well, not only is it already painful, but now it won't even stay hard. And we got to keep at this weird fucking routine for a whole hour when I was just looking forward to like a 20-minute romp.
Somehow he created this whole thing for it to be you serving him. And it being your problem when his dick. He is the problem.
He would never make me feel like it was my problem when his dick went limp. But ever. I will say that.
That's the covert part of it. He
but,
doesn't have to say it directly.
But he would.
Does other things.
Yeah, it would be like can you just
it?
do this? Can we just have sex in this position?
Well,
and it would literally be the same thing every time.
That's why it's covert.
And I just wanted.
Because it's covert. He doesn't have to say anything. Yeah. He knows what strings to pull to make you feel like you need to do all this work. And it's all about him. It was
all about him.
He's creating this whole story.
I just wanted.
So you're running around trying to do all this work to make sure his dick stays hard.
Yeah.
You know, that's why it's covert. He's manipulating you into being like, it's your problem that my dick isn't hard. And you have to do all this work to get my dick hard.
Yeah. Or I have to at least be in the same exact position every single time, which
but that's fucking whack.
Honestly, I just wanted to get railed out in the kitchen.
Yeah, but he couldn't do that to you, could he?
Nope.
Because
we never knew if there was going to be a boner. Sometimes I just want it to be like really quick. I don't have a ton of time, and I'd love to be intimate or like let's have a moment, but like I don't have fucking 2 hours for all of this. Not to mention that like the only time we ever had sex is if I initiated.
But he makes you feel like it's your problem.
But if I initiated and we started, I never knew if it was going to be 2 hours of just really him sitting weird on the floor beating off trying to keep his boner, or you know what. And oh god, it was
I seriously want to meet this man so I can like
laugh at his
put a
non-boner
bag of poop on his porch and light it on fire.
Yeah,
I call mine Ted because
I know
he's very similar to Ted Bundy.
We talked about that.
Yeah. And I know you're watching, motherfucker.
Yeah, Ted Bundy. Just kidding. Ted Bundy, technically the guy, the real guy, Ted Bundy, is, I think it was Ted Bundy that was executed on my birthday.
What the fuck?
Or was it Dahmer?
Are you fucking kidding me?
Was it executed?
I don't know because I stopped watching murder things because it bothers me. But Ted Bundy, back when I watched it, I was like, holy shit, my ex is like Ted Bundy, like the same characteristics. But I didn't continue to watch to see when he died. But if he fucking died on your birthday, and my oldest daughter is the same exact birthday as you.
Ted Bundy.
Actually, it doesn't mean anything.
Ted Bundy was executed January 24th,
Shut
1989.
The fuck up.
And I'm born January 24th, not 1989.
Yeah, my oldest daughter is January 24th, and we've talked about.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me? You got executed?
Mm-hmm. On our birthday. Yup.
Holy fucking shit.
Serial killer ties.
And my whole book that I've been writing for the last few years, I call him Ted Bundy. In a whole chapter.
In a whole chapter.
Not Bundy, but I call him Ted. You know what? We can keep talking about this on the next episode.
We could talk about this
part 1, part 2, part 3.
Yeah.
Because like
part 1, part 2, part 3. She says.
Yeah,
she even got an accent with that. She's like, we're going to talk about this again.
Dude, did I have an accent?
It did. It sounded like you did a little bit.
I probably did.
I was like, oh, okay, we're going there now.
You have a really good accent.
It's not real.
Oh my god, I love it.
It's a little fake, a little fakey.
I like it. Okay, so there will probably be another part to this, but let's cheers.
But we're going to call it something different, so we don't got to call it a part 2. Yeah. All right,
okay. Well,
that's what I got.
Okay.
It's fine.
Cheers.
Cheers, bitch.
See you guys next time.